Good morning, welcome to Stories in the Park. Last week we were at Veterans Memorial Park and we have a giant rocket behind me today, so we're going to do stories about outer space and rockets today. How many of you watched the SpaceX launch? I did, it was super awesome. And we got to see 2 astronauts from the United States go up into space, and now they're living in outer space at the space station. And I'll post some cool links that you can visit on our website, so you can check in with the astronauts every once in a while if you want. But the first book I'm going to read is called Rocket Says Look Up by Nathan Byron, and this is a pretty new book at our library. We just got it recently. Every night before bed, I set up my telescope and wish upon a star. Mom tells me that I never stop looking up and my head is always floating in the clouds. But she can't tell me that I look up more than my big brother Jamal looks down at his silly phone. Jamal says I'm called Rocket because I've got fiery breath. But Mom says it's because a famous rocket blasted off into space the day I was born. All I know is that one day I'm going to be the greatest astronaut starcatcher spacewalker who has ever lived, like Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space. Did you know Mae Jemison went to orbit around the Earth in the space shuttle Endeavour, even though she's afraid of heights? I'm totally prepared. I've defied gravity, captured rare and exotic life forms, and built a ship to the stars. For today's mission, I'm going to see something incredible, the Phoenix meteor shower. I want everyone to see it with me, so I've made some flyers to hand out. Jamal is going to take me to the park to see the meteor shower, but first we have to go to the supermarket. While he's looking for the milk, I will be trying to find the astronaut food. Did you know meteor showers happen when the Earth moves through the trail of dust left by a comet? Did you know most meteors are smaller than a grain of sand? Did you know meteors are bits of dust burning up in the atmosphere? Did you know the best time to see a meteor shower is when it's dark with no clouds? In the supermarket, when Kathy, the cashier, isn't looking, I grab the microphone. For one night only, come out and witness the amazing Phoenix meteor shower. And everyone looks up. Kathy takes her microphone back as I hand out my flyers to the other people in the line. I think Jamal might be a tiny bit annoyed with me. The Phoenix meteor shower will be coming soon. We better drop off the shopping and get to the park fast. Look out! Haha, that wouldn't happen if you just looked up. Now Jamal is even more annoyed with me, and he says he won't take me to the park anymore. But when we get home, Mom saves the day. Come on, she says. Put the phone down, take your little sister to the park. Yes! I jump up and do my famous victory dance around the room. I grab my jetpack backpack, but Jamal is still glued to his game. Wait till I complete this level, Rocket, he grumbles. As we're about to leave, the doorbell rings. Wow! Half the people from my street, and they're all holding my flyers. To the park, I yell at the top of my lungs. Everyone is so excited. My neck is aching from staring up into the night sky, but I won't stop. I can't miss it. Suddenly, the park goes silent. Even the birds are holding their breath. Everyone points their telescopes and binoculars up at the sky. Everyone but Jamal, who is still looking down at his phone. I think I see it, I shout. But it's just a plane flying overhead. Everyone moans and groans. We wait and wait and wait. One by one, people start to leave. Maybe the Phoenix meteor shower was a myth after all. Maybe that's why Jamal didn't want to come along. Maybe that's why everyone is upset with me for wasting their time. I've never ever felt this sad before. Jamal looks at me for the first time today. It feels like the first time ever. Turn my phone off, sis, he says. I'm sorry for making you wait for nothing, Jamal. Let's go home. Suddenly, there's a bright light in the sky. Look up! The Phoenix meteor shower. I'm speechless, says Jamal. He pulls out his thermos and pours me a cup of hot chocolate. Yummy. We both sit down on the hill, watching the meteors zoom across the sky. I'm so happy we looked up and saw them together. Did you know one day I'm going to have a meteor shower named after me? When Harriet Henry came down for dinner, her parents said, "Someday you will play your cello in a big orchestra. Won't that make you happy?" Harriet imagined crowds of people all dressed up like penguins. Her hands became sweaty and her face became hot. "No," she said with a sigh, "I don't think that will make me happy." Harriet pushed her green beans into a neat row. Then she closed her eyes and changed her parents into penguins. "May I excuse myself, please?" she asked. Harriet Henry did not want to play in a big orchestra. Harriet Henry wanted to play her cello alone. When Harriet was alone, she would change her room into a little house with a kitchen table, a chair, a teacup, and a fireplace. And when everything was quiet and still, she would draw her bow and whoo, whoo, whoo. Harriet peeked her head out the window. "Please go away," she said. "I want to be alone." Then she sat back down and drew her bow and whoo, whoo, whoo. Harriet took her teacup and threw it out the window. "Who?" asked the owl, and he flew off into the night. Harriet did not want to hurt the owl. "I just want to be alone," she thought. Then she sat back down and tried to change her regret into a new teacup. Before she could, Harriet's little house filled up with smoke. Quickly she made herself a bucket, filled it with water, and tossed it on the fire, and then ran outside. "Hello?" came a voice. Harriet looked up and saw the moon. "Why are you sitting in my chimney?" she asked. "Because I'm stuck," said the moon. "Why are you stuck?" asked Harriet. "Because," said the moon, "you hit me with your teacup, and I fell from the sky." Harriet felt horrible. "I really am sorry," she said. Then she made herself a ladder, climbed to the roof, and pulled the moon out of her chimney. "My name is Harriet Henry," said Harriet, "but you can call me Hank." "I am the moon," said the moon, "but you can call me Mr. Moon." "Do you get chilly up in the sky?" said Hank. "Yes," said Mr. Moon, "I do." "When I am chilly," said Hank, "I wear a warm hat." Then Hank made herself a wagon. She pulled Mr. Moon through the neighborhood, past the lake and the broken street lamp, all the way to the hat maker. "Mr. Moon would like a hat," said Hank. She pulled $1 from her pocket. "Mr. Moon may have any hat he likes," said the hat maker. Then he gave Hank back her dollar because, when he was very young, he had fallen in love on a moonlit night. Mr. Moon chose the striped hat. "Do you like being the moon?" asked Hank. "Yes," said Mr. Moon, "but sometimes I wish I wasn't the moon." Hank stopped at the broken street lamp. "What would you do if you weren't the moon?" she asked. Mr. Moon glowed brightly on the sidewalk below. "I would row in a boat," he answered with a soft smile. "Every night I watch my reflection float from one side of the lake to the other. Just once I'd like to float on the lake for real." Hank pulled Mr. Moon to the edge of the lake. "You wait here," she said. Then she went to knock on the fisherman's door. "Mr. Moon would like to row on a boat," said Hank. She pulled $1 from her pocket. "Mr. Moon may borrow any boat he likes," said the fisherman. Then he gave Hank back her $1 because once, long ago, the moon had chased away a storm and guided him safely home. Mr. Moon chose the red boat. Hank and Mr. Moon rowed to the middle of the lake. "This is nice," said Hank. "Yes, this is nice," said Mr. Moon. "I like the sound of the water when it drips from the oars, and I like the sound of the buoy bell coming from far away." "I think you are lucky," said Mr. Moon. "There's so much music down below. It's so quiet up in the sky." "I think it is time for me to go back home," said Mr. Moon. He cast his cool light across the water without a sound. "Will you come too and play your cello for me?" Hank's hands became sweaty and her face became hot. "I do not like to play for crowds," she said. "But maybe if you close your eyes and promise not to cheer." "I promise," said Mr. Moon. Hank rowed back to the dock. "You wait here," she said. She pulled her wagon back to the fisherman. "May I borrow your net, please?" And she pulled her wagon back to the hat maker. "May I have another hat, please?" Last, she pulled her wagon back to the owl. "I am sorry that I scared you before. Will you help me return Mr. Moon?" "I will," said the owl, because every owl is a friend of the moon. Then the owl collected every owl. Hank collected her cello. And together they collected Mr. Moon and brought him back home. "Thank you, owls," said Hank. And then when everything was quiet and still, Hank drew her bow and played music for no one but Mr. Moon. Our next story is Kitten's First Full Moon, and this is a classic by Kevin Hinks. It was Kitten's first full moon. When she saw it, she thought, "There's a little bowl of milk in the sky," and she wanted it. So she closed her eyes and stretched her neck and opened her mouth and licked. The kitten not only ended up with a bug on her tongue. Poor kitten. Still, there was a little bowl of milk just waiting. So she pulled herself together and wiggled her bottom and sprang from the top step of the porch. But Kitten only tumbled, bumping her nose and banging her ear and pinching her tail. Poor Kitten. Still, there was a little bowl of milk just waiting. So she chased it down the sidewalk, through the garden, past the field, and by the pond. But Kitten never seemed to get any closer. Poor Kitten. Still, there was a little bowl of milk just waiting. So she ran to the tallest tree she could find and climbed and climbed and climbed to the very top. But Kitten still couldn't reach the bowl of milk, and now she was scared. Poor Kitten, what could she do? Then, in the pond, Kitten saw another bowl of milk, and it was bigger. What a night! So she raced down the tree and raced through the grass and raced to the edge of the pond. She leapt with all her might. Poor Kitten, she was wet and sad and tired and hungry. So she went back home. And there was a great big bowl of milk on the porch, just waiting for her. Lucky Kitten. This one's not about the moon, this one's about Mars, life on Mars. on Mars. I have traveled a long way from Earth. I am here to find life. It's got a little present. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Nobody believes there's life on Mars, but I do. And I just know that I'm going to find it. So far, Mars looks pretty gloomy, more gloomy than I thought. I'm starting to wonder, could anything possibly live here? It's dark, it's cold. I've brought this gift of chocolate cupcakes. I don't think I'll find anybody to eat them. Wow, I was wrong. Mars is nothing but miles and miles of rocks and dirt. It's obvious nothing could possibly live here. What a disaster. Everybody was right. There is no life on Mars. I'm going home immediately. Uh-oh. Where's my spaceship? I can't believe it. I'm lost. Lost on Mars where there is no life. Wait a minute. What's that? No way! It's life! It's on Mars and it's alive! What an amazing discovery! I can't wait to get back to Earth and show everybody what I found. Now I've got to find my spaceship. I bet I'll get a good view from the top of that mountain. Aha! There it is! What an adventure! I'll always believed there was life on Mars, and I was right. I think I deserve a treat. Somebody ate the cupcakes. And this is another one about the moon. A Taste of the Moon by Michael Greenjig. You ever wondered what the moon might taste like? The kitten thought it tasted like a bowl of milk. Let's find out what these animals think it's going to taste like. Where's the... For a long time, animals have wanted to find out what the moon tasted like. Was it sweet or salty? They only wanted it to taste a little piece. At night, they longingly gazed up at the sky. They reached up and tried to catch it, stretching their necks, their legs, and their arms. But however hard they tried, not even the biggest animal could reach it. One day, Little Tortoise decided to climb the highest mountain so she could touch the moon. From atop the mountain, the moon was closer, but the tortoise couldn't reach it, and so she called the elephant. If you climb on my back, perhaps we could reach the moon. The moon thought it was a game. As the elephant reached up, the moon backed away. The elephant couldn't touch the moon, and so he called the giraffe. If you climb up onto my back, maybe we can reach it. The giraffe climbed up, but the moon moved away a little more. The giraffe stretched and stretched his neck as far as he could, but he could not reach the moon, and so he called the zebra. If you climb up onto my back, I'm sure we can get closer to it. The moon was beginning to enjoy the game and moved away a little more. The zebra stretched and stretched as far as she could, but she couldn't reach the moon either. And so she called the lion. If you climb up onto my back, maybe we can reach it. The lion clawed to the top, but the moon moved a little way a little more. Still they couldn't touch the moon, and so they called the fox. "We'll make it this time if you climb onto my back," said the lion. The fox jumped onto the top, but the moon moved a little more. The animals could almost touch it, but the moon moved further and further away, and so the fox called the monkey. "I'm sure we could do it this time. Come on, jump onto my back." The moon saw the monkey and moved away. Now the monkey could smell the moon, but there was no way he could touch it, and so he called the mouse. "Climb onto my back and we'll touch the moon." The moon saw the mouse and thought, "I'm sure that such a tiny animal can't catch me." Becoming bored with the game, the moon stayed where it was. Then the mouse climbed up onto the tortoise, the elephant, the giraffe, the zebra, the lion, the fox, and the monkey, and quickly he took one little bite of the moon. He tasted it happily, and then he shared it with the monkey, the fox, the lion, the zebra, the giraffe, the elephant, and the tortoise. And the moon tasted of exactly the thing each animal liked best. That night, the animals slept cuddled up together. Oh, what happened to the moon? The fish, who had seen everything and didn't understand what was going on, said, well, all of that hard work to reach up to the moon in the sky. Can't you see there's another one much closer here in the water?" There's the moon. The last story for today is My Rainy Day Rocket Ship by Marquette Shepard. And this is a brand new book. It has a new sticker on it still. It's fun to pretend and make up stories. Maybe use an old box and make a rocket ship and pretend you're an astronaut. Oops, there you go. Mom says it's too rainy to play outside today, so I'll have to find my fun another way. I could get in some laughs with inside toys, cars, and games that bring much joy. But I've been there and done that stuff. Today I'll make something really tough. Like a whole new world in a different place, a galaxy far off in outer space. I'll need a rocket to get me there. How about this rocking chair? And I'll need a super launching pad. This will require some tools from Dad. A cardboard box and a bunch of socks. These will surely serve me well. On this mission, I cannot fail. Now let me see about a spacesuit. These swimming trunks and goggles should do. Of course, astronauts need a flag. Perhaps I can use Mom's old dish rag. Now if I can just get Mom to turn off the light, this astronaut's crew is ready for flight. Dad does a countdown from behind the couch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mom makes sure I don't feel an ouch. Zoom, 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 all the way from the living room, down the hall, riding on a broom. Prepare for landing on planet XYZ. It's safe arrival in my BED, also known as the land of Z's. And that is the end. Thank you for joining us for Stories in the Park. Send me a guess if you have an idea of where we're at today. And if you are wanting to do the summer reading program, it is all digital this year. We have the reading logs posted online. You can print them out, and then when you get them filled out each month, just take a picture, or you can scan it if that works better, and just email it to me. The email address is on the website and on the reading logs. There's activity sheets, there's going to be all kinds of fun digital activities and things you can print out and do, some videos. So just check in on the website and for all kinds of new activities each week.